9 minutes after the hour, Thursday, May 30th, 2019, 46 degrees outside, looking for a high today of 73 degrees. And I do have tulips coming up in the front thing there. And it's really interesting because we had a tulip bed there when we moved into the property. And a friend of my wife's came over and dug them up. And then we planted some bushes and stuff in there, some decorative flowery things, some fire stuff and whatever. And we when we planted everything to keep the weeds down, we put the screen down. You put that screen down and then you put mulch on top of it and everything. The tulips that were remaining just push right through that.
Yeah, of
they
course.
just come right up, man.
They're hardy, baby.
They do.
Hardy.
They come up between the house and the wood. I mean, if they can see daylight, man, they are up. So she didn't get them all. So we've got just a smattering of tulips in with our other stuff, but they leave pretty quickly. They're done by June or 1st of July. So they're
that's right.
Yeah.
Well, the tulip festivals always, in Europe are amazing, but particularly in Holland and Denmark. But yeah, you should go on, if you folks like to go on the internet for any reason, you should just check out the incredible designs of the gardens and the colors. It's just, it's fabulous.
Yeah. Well, on this day in history, let's see, 1539, Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto, who invented the De Soto car, I'm assuming.
Of course he did.
Yeah, back in 1539. Landed successfully in Florida.
Yes, indeed. Quite the explorer. He did expeditions to Niagara and Yucatan.
He may have done exhibitions. We don't know.
Yeah, to the Yucatan Peninsula, and but he was renowned for having crossed the Mississippi River first, and did a lot of exploring in the southeastern United States, and made 4 trips: Florida, the southeast, and tried to punch westward, but then died on the Mississippi River in 1542 at the ripe young age of 46.
Wow. Young guy.
That's young.
Young guy.
Very young guy. Castilian.
Wow.
So the Castilians are the hardcore Spaniards, man.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. 1854, the territories of Nebraska and Kansas were established. Territories before they were states, obviously.
Yeah, Kansas in particular, May 30th, 1854. And became a state January 29th, 1861, just in time for the Civil War. And they sided with the North in the Civil War.
Yeah.
And
the Civil War just made them a state, so come on. You can't go with the rebels if they just made you a state. Come on.
Much of the eastern side of the state, or the western side of the state, was territory of Colorado. So when Colorado was established and cut out, it sort of took some property away from Kansas. They weren't happy about that.
I bet they weren't, yeah.
Onward and upward, and everything keeps moving in the 18th century, and the United States moved across the continent in a very, very quick way. It was pretty fast.
It was pretty fast, yeah. Once the wagon train started heading west, man, it was an exodus over there. So I'm still surprised there are more people living east of the Mississippi than west of the Mississippi, you would think.
I find that so strange.
Yeah,
really
you would think everybody went west. The weather was better.
Well, there were so many things that caused it, like the gold rush of 49 in California.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of attraction to go there, that direction. And I don't know. It was.
And the shallow oil found in Texas, that was big.
Yeah. All right, 1911 on this date, the Indianapolis 500 was run for the first time, and so big race, yeah.
Yes,
the Brickyard.
Ray Haroon. I'm sure you're going to remember this car you drove, Ray Haroon, who had a Marmon Motor Company, which was established in 1851.
Wow.
Yeah, he was an engineer.
The motor car before the Civil War.
That's right. And he came out of retirement in 1911 to run in the race and won. and then he went back into retirement. And his car company, Marmon, went down in 1933 after the
depression. Yeah.
But it wasn't even acquired by another company, so clearly he didn't invent anything strategic.
Yeah, nothing anybody wanted.
Just
a winning car at the Indy 500. That's all.
Yeah, that's all.
So, other than that, it was fine.
Exactly.
1922, the Lincoln Memorial was dedicated in Washington, D.C., and that took a long time to get a Lincoln Memorial going. Jeez.
And quite the collaboration. A lot Flannery, an Irish-American sculptor. This was his best-known work of Abraham Lincoln. And he started that to erect in front of the District of Columbia City Hall in 1868. Then this was 3 years after Lincoln's assassination. And then in 1867, the Congress provided funding for a larger monument. Mm-hmm. So Clark Mills, another American sculptor, he was best known for 4 versions of an equestrian statue of Andrew Jackson. And keep in mind, these are all, chipped out and chiseled out and polished out of marble.
Right, yeah.
So his Andrew Jackson sculptures are in Washington, D.C., Nashville, Tennessee, Jacksonville, Florida, and New Orleans. So he designed and built the monument outside, which is pretty spectacular. By the way, it's a 12-foot high statue sitting on a chair 70 feet high in there. And it you can see it from the west portico of the White House, which looks down the mall and sees the Washington Monument and Lincoln Monument.
Like a memorial, yeah. All right, 1982, Spain became NATO's 16th member.
Which was critical because of the peninsula.
Right.
Much to the dislike of the British because they still hold Gibraltar.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a monarchy and relatively well-developed country. It was neutral during World War II because of General Franco, who took over the country and was a fascist.
Still dead.
And now died. Yeah. And $1.8 trillion GDP, which is bigger than Canada. And, that's pretty impressive for a country in the population of 46,700,000. So not only bigger population, but a bigger GDP than Canada. But in dire straits right now, 21% unemployment. Ooh.
Yeah. Well, if you remember the Saturday Night Live with Chevy Chase and Jane Curtin, they always pointed out that Franco was still dead. So, 1982, Cal Ripken Jr. of the Baltimore Orioles played in the first of a record 2,632 consecutive Major League Baseball games.
Well, you're the baseball fan here, so you're the only one who can talk to it.
Well, I don't know. You have to take a day off. You can't play in 2,632 consecutive games. I mean, come on. You'd be burned out.
Well, and that, too, and he raised a family and everything, of course.
Well, yeah, had the whole thing going on. But yeah, quite a player, obviously,
Well, you gotta say, clearly in good health. I mean.
Oh, yeah. God. Well, you have to be, yeah. The other interesting thing about baseball is they talk about people coming into spring training, being in shape, and whatever.
Yeah, right.
They don't want you to be in shape at spring training. They want you to be in shape at the end of the season when the playoffs come and everything else happens. It's not important that that you're in shape opening day.
Well, but the thing about all these athletes,
I mean, you got 162 games you got to play.
Yeah, that's right. But when they're off season, when you work out, it's like anything else that you do something for 21 days, it's a habit. So
yeah, that's true.
They all spend an hour, 2 hours in the gym or working out every day. That's just what they do.
I think so. Let's take a phone call. 522 Talk is the number. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
How you guys doing?
Good.
Good. That's awesome. another nice day out there.
It is. Going to be 73 or so today, so they tell me.
Enjoy it. It could be snowing tomorrow, so enjoy it.
That's right, yeah.
Right. That's so awesome. Clint yesterday was talking up that Kathleen Williams.
Yes.
She's a Democrat.
Yes.
That's the way he said that.
And a liberal one.
And a liberal. Yeah, I don't know what the hell Clint's thinking, We can't do that. If you're a conservative, if you have the Democrats have swung so far. Like, you can't be a moderate Democrat in the Democrat Party, I don't think.
You'd be drummed out,
you would. Yeah, they're going to pull everybody.
Tar and feather and a rail out of town. That's where you'd go.
Definitely.
Well, all I know is that the way the Democrats are blowing up their party, the only thing they're going to be able to run a campaign on is Year of the Woman and have as many women running for Congress as they can find.
Boy, howdy. The thing is, though, they were all saying that the Republicans were dead, and now we're saying they're dead, and then...
Well, you never know. It's 18 months to go, so...
Yeah, there's a lot of things that could happen.
Amen to that.
But, yeah, so I forgot what else I wanted to say to you guys.
Hey, that's okay. You can text us. You can text us.
All right, I'll text you. You guys have a good day.
All right, thanks for the call.
You too. Drive there safely.
All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. 26 minutes after the hour. It's Thursday, May 30th, 2019. 47 degrees outside. Looking for a high of 73 today. Ooh, me. Ooh, man, oh, man.
Something to get excited about.
I'm excited. From our text line, 478-8298, on Aaron Flint's show, Montana Talks, Aaron said we couldn't prove that Trump stole any horses, but he sure obstructed us for trying to hang him for it.
Yeah, there you go.
So
that's great. I like
that. Not bad at all. That's a good one. We'll stay with that one. All right, let's see. 1996, Britain's Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson were granted an uncontested decree ending their 10-year marriage. Fergie. Before Fergie of Black Eyed Peas or whatever that band is.
That's right. Yeah. Well, the Queen, as the head of the Church of England, is the only one in a position to do that. So the sovereign makes these decisions.
That's it. 1997, child molester Jesse K. Timondequa. What a name, huh? Timondequa.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
He was convicted in Trenton, New Jersey, of raping and strangling 7-year-old neighbor Megan Canta. The case inspired Megan's Law, which requires that communities be notified when sex offenders move in. So Megan's Law, thanks to Megan, I guess. Unfortunately for her.
Regrettably, yes.
Yeah. 2002, on this date, a solemn, wordless ceremony marked the end of the cleanup at Ground Zero in New York, 8.5 months after the September 11th terrorist attacks.
Remarkable accomplishment when you realize, it took 10 years to build those two towers.
Yeah.
And they were solid steel. I mean, they were all the way up. So, it was quite an accomplishment. Mm-hmm. And the steel has been used to build military ships, and it's been used in other areas, buildings. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And of course, there's some of it in the museum at the base of the new tower.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's true. 2005, Vice President Dick Cheney predicted the Iraq War would end before the Bush administration left office, saying, "I think they're in the last throes, if you will, of the insurgency." Said that on CNN's Larry King, and of course we all know we're still there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well,
like it or not.
Bad choices, bad consequences. Yeah. Ouch.
Well, in 2006, a jury in Rockville, Maryland, convicted John Allen Muhammad of 6 of the Washington area sniper killings. So.
Remember
a lot of violence going on today,
Yeah, but I remember that sniper thing. I mean, it was like a lockdown. People were really...
They were really, it was pretty, everybody was pretty nervous driving around, not knowing you're going to be shot. So.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back right after this, so stay tuned. We got Montana State News, Fox News, Brooke Foster with the weather, Jacobus, insurance, earplugs, and Mark Levin. What more could you want? We'll be right back. 23 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Thursday, May 30th, 2019, 48 degrees outside. We're looking for a high of in the 70s today, Shane. So pretty exciting morning going on. And from our text line, 478-8298, ground zero is the detonation point of a nuclear device by definition. So
that's true.
That's true.
That's true.
The texter is accurate. There should be some kind of gift or prize. But of course, we're talking about Town Square Media.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
So that's probably not going to work out.
Not even free tickets.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to talk about that we didn't get to yesterday, by the way, we have a rule today, no UFOs, no chemtrails, no cattle mutilations, none of that today. So, but anyway, in Bozeman, the mobile homeowners are struggling as the property taxes increase, Shane, and some of these things have gone up quite dramatically. Those folks who live in mobile homes, the one mobile home in King Arthur Park saw the value go from $9,500 to $54,000.
Wow.
9,700 or 9,500 to 54,000.
I'd sell that and move to Arizona and get a trailer there.
Well, there you are. Yeah. One increased in Big Sky from $5,000 in 2013 to $28,000 in 2019, and another in Bozeman went from $12,000 to $24,000 between 2013 and 2019. So the 6-year, we do the property values every 6 years, and boy, it's for some of these folks that not many mobile homes in Gallup Valley would go for under $10,000, though. That's that's pretty amazing. Yeah. Lady bought her trailer in 2014, said it was worth $27,000. Now, after doing it, nothing to it but building a shed next to it, it's $60,000.
Oh my goodness!
Geez. So, yeah, I guess they're looking to up these quite a bit. I'm not sure what that does to the property taxes on mobile homes are done. I think in June and November. I think 2 parts. You pay it in 2 parts, or you can pay it all at once if you can. But yeah, it's a different time than the homeowners' property taxes come due.
And you can buy a pretty exclusive mobile home for double-sider for like $75,000.
Oh yeah,
new.
No, they're quite good. Yeah, so
they are.
Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't recommend one like in Oklahoma.
Yeah, well,
or Alabama.
Well,
yeah, I with weather, with uncertain weather,
Well, certainly in the weather they have, the weather they have there. I was really surprised with the cave-ins at MSU with the snow that we didn't have cave-ins at mobile home parks, but apparently they're made a little better than we thought. Or else people are out there. Well, I know people go out there and take the snow off their home, Cause
they have metal roofs, so it's easy to push the snow off.
Right, some do,
move.
Some are shingled, but many are metal roof. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that works. So, all right. Well, guess what?
What's happening in Bozeman today? Is there a new building going up?
No. We have 2 commercials coming up.
Oh, great.
Southwest Montana Help Wanted and Noxatril. I don't know if those 2 work together or not. I don't know what kind of help is needed, but anyway, Noxatril warning. You're going to get Noxatril right now. 17 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Thursday, May 30th, 2019, 49 degrees. Shane Matobin on the line in Vancouver, British Columbia. Half man, half amazing. Tom Eagle, your morning mayor in the house. And this is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Well, thank you for coming with us. And, well, in other news, Shane, MSU just can't keep quiet here. They've had a little riff about who's going to control what in the neuroscience building. And then on top of that, we've got a plant scientist who held a prestigious position at Montana State University. He's quietly resigned after an internal investigation concluded that he sexually harassed and discriminated against students and created such a hostile environment that several were forced to leave his lab and one considered suicide. Jeez.
Wow, that's serious.
What a guy.
Now, do you think that follows him where he goes looking for work?
He may be done. I don't know. Well, there's probably some liberal school somewhere that'll hire him because, he was harassed probably.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't his fault.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault. It was, I don't know. Anyway, Hekmet Budak. There you go. That's his name. Who held MSU's first endowed chair in plant sciences in the College of Agriculture, was investigated by MSU's Office of Institutional Equity. And MSU's investigative report, which found evidence that he discriminated against students and staff based on their disabilities, national origin, sex, gender, marriage, family status, and religion.
Wow, that's a lot.
I was gonna say he pretty well violated everything in the Equal Opportunity Act and the Non-Discrimination Act. I was going to say about the only thing he didn't get him for was height and weight. So anyway, a preponderance of the evidence created a hostile environment, and that was rampant with harassment. So
it doesn't make sense to me that people that are that well educated and have that status, particularly in academia, would take that kind of a risk. It's just, to me, it's just weird. Definitely issues. He's got issues, obviously.
Well, he's a scientist from Turkey who held the Winfred Absorption, the one that donated the money to the place, Plant Sciences endowed chair. He denies all the allegations against him, of course, and he denied to MSU that he discriminated against anyone. He asserted that he actually recruited many women students to his lab, welcomed international students, and assisted international students with groceries and money. So, there you go.
Oh. So I didn't hear anywhere in that comment consensual. I didn't hear the word consensual.
Yeah. Yeah. Your groceries and your money should always be consensual. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they also concluded that he hired mainly young women students, regularly threatened to fire students from his lab, often joked about using a gun to shoot students, criticized female students for their weight. Oh, gosh, there we go. And for having boyfriends or husband, called students fat in Turkish, and yelled at women students. Fired a woman staffer based on her family status, and often touched female students in ways that made them feel uncomfortable. So good riddance to him. He is gone. So I'm
not sure, but it sounds a lot like maybe Sunni sort of influence on his part.
Well, I don't know. Being from Turkey, you never know what, and I don't want to paint everybody from Turkey with a broad brush here,
Well, but 98% of people in Turkey are Sunni.
Yeah. So, and not exactly big fans of women.
Well, that's why I said that.
Yeah.
This is a good thing to cover because all the women listening out there should realize just how they could be treated.
Wow. Well, in another story, should ethics complaints against candidates be public or private, Shane?
Well, they're in the public, so they should be public. Of course they should.
Well, a federal appeals court on Wednesday struck down a Montana law requiring that any ethics complaint made against a state official be kept confidential, ruling that the law violated free speech rights.
Wow. I don't know about that. I just think that if you've been found, in breach of some ethical, misdeed, people around you have a right to know about it.
I would certainly think so. The opinion by the 3-judge panel of the Ninth Circuit, of course, effectively makes all allegations of ethical breaches by elected or unelected state officials public information. That goes further than the 2017 judge's ruling that said complaints against elected officials should be public, but those against unelected officials should remain confidential. So I don't know. I think any ethics complaint ought to be at least talked about.
Yeah,
you're innocent until proven guilty, even if you're accused. So, boy, I don't know.
All right, okay.
All right, we got to take another quick break. We'll be no Moxatrill, so enjoy. 8 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Thursday, May 30th, 2019. 51 degrees outside. We're looking for a high in the low 70s today, so hopefully we'll get there, Shane, and should be a beautiful day in the neighborhood, as they Mr. Rogers used to always tell us. So.
Well, there's not much going on in Livingston that I can see. A lot of talk about ranch work and pretty much basic stuff that people have to deal with in the springtime, and the voter mill levy for the ambulance service. I still find that incredible. They don't have an ambulance in Livingston.
Well, they don't have the population for it yet.
Yes, not.
Yeah. Oh. Well, they did have more than 100 people turn out for the tire recycling plan that's going on.
I see that.
That environmental advocates turned out Tuesday at the Livingston Civic Center to air their grievances or learn details about a proposed tire dump and recycling facility in Paradise Valley. And the Tuesday scoping meeting was sponsored by the Montana Department of Environmental Quality, which is considering a proposal from some folks to operate a tire monofill just off East River Road near its intersection with Chicory Road. And the proposed monofill, a site where only one waste material is allowed for burial, would be located approximately 1.7 miles north of Prey, and it would boast a total waste tire capacity. I don't know, my screen just went big. There it goes.
Well, I was just going to say
280,000 tons of tires. So there you go.
Yeah, as an environmental issue, tires are incredibly bad because of what their lifespan, so to speak. But the interesting thing in both our countries, I'm sure you have this there. Don't you have a tire tax, an environmental tire tax?
Sure.
So where's that money? If they've got money for the disposal, if they collect money from you for the disposal of the tires,
well, it's earning interest somewhere, and it's not counted. It's not in the budget, so
it's an off-balance sheet tax.
Well, from our text line 478-8298, how insensitive Tom used the term broad brush rather than old promiscuous female brush. I'm offended.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's
all right. Yeah, I will try to watch. I will try to watch my pronouns in the future here. Well, I guess broad is a noun, so
yeah.
I don't know. I didn't do well in English, which is why I'm here.
I think it's a reference to being wide. Ooh,
right, yeah.
That was the wrong thing to say.
Yeah. Well, we've also got a dispute over a veto with Montana governor and the Secretary of State. They're trying to define wild bison or wild buffalo. To the best of my knowledge, there are no buffalo in North America. They're all in Africa, but we do have bison here. But for some reason, this bill seems to turn the wild bison or wild buffalo into some kind of a petting zoo. So I don't know. The disputed bill would redefine a wild bison or wild buffalo in a way that Bullock said in his veto letter would create confusion and uncertainty about whether Yellowstone National Park bison could be mistakenly considered domestic animals. So I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know about that one.
Domesticated animals.
Yeah.
Great.
So just walk right up there and pet the heck out of them. Put your kids on their back. They love it. They're all ready to go. So
next time you see someone riding a buffalo, you can go, nice job domesticating that animal.
That's right. Yeah. So it'll be pretty good. But anyway, Stapleton makes his argument in two sections of the state law. The first says the government must return the veto bill to the Secretary of State if the legislature is not in session. And the second says the bill that has not been returned by the governor within 10 days after its delivery to the governor becomes law. And that's, of course, we all know that you can sit there for 10 days, and if you don't sign it, it becomes law. So
that's correct.
So that's where we are with that. So also, Greg Gianforte plans to run for governor. No secret there, I don't think. And that leaves that seat open to what Clint was talking about the other day, Maxine, or not Maxine.
I hope not.
And what her name just went out of my head. Not Maxine Waters, but
Anderson?
Williamson, I think, yeah. But I don't think it's Maxine. I don't know. I don't remember what her first name is. But anyway, I do know she's pretty much anti-gun and a bunch of other things. And you can certainly look her speeches up on YouTube. And in fact, when she was in the legislature a couple of years ago, I think, she did a daily YouTube monologue of something, that she didn't like about what was going on in the government. So you can go back and check those out, and I think those will probably follow her into the campaign, some of her negative situations there. But
any film tags you, look at Biden. They've got 50 years of it.
Yeah, I was going to say. Well, Kathleen Williams, not Williamson, Kathleen Williams is announced in March. She'll be running, so yeah.
So
yeah.
What Republican do you tag as the most likely to run against her?
Against Kathleen?
Yeah.
Who?
Republican.
Ooh, I don't know.
I don't think any Republicans have announced to run for Congress yet, right?
I don't think anybody's announced to run for
Gianforte's seat.
Yeah, because he hasn't officially vacated it till now. So.
No, but
yeah,
he will.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't know.
He can't run for both, right? He can't run for Congress and governor in your state.
No, he can't. No. Kathleen Williams, anti-gun, anti-cow, from our text line 478-8298. So there you go. Sounds like AOC.
Yeah, she sounds like a mooser.
A mooser. All right. What a guy. Jeez. Well, let's see. Other news. Somebody is moving out of Illinois every 6.4 minutes.
Incredible. Or
4.6 minutes. I forget which.
Yeah,
anyway.
That's like California and New York. Mm-hmm. They all have these. Yeah, the mobility in the country makes it easy for people to make that decision.
That's true. Well, and also Illinois wants to go with a progressive state income tax. They have a flat tax now. It's 6%, I think, something like that.
And the state government is talking about passing a law to segregate Chicago from the state.
That'd be good. That'd be good, yeah.
And therefore allow Chicago to apply for statehood on its own.
All right.
How strange would that be?
Yeah, there you go. Eagle Mount is going to join us at 7:30 today. They've got some events going on that we want to talk about. Otherwise, we'll have open lines all day long, so stay tuned. And anything you want to talk about, we'll be back right after this. We've spent 2 days without doing 5 things you need to know, so we're definitely going to do them today, because no UFOs, no chemtrails, no cattle mutilations, no, none of that. We'll be back. 5 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock, our normal opening music disappeared, so I can't put it in while I'm recording the show, so we'll have it back up tomorrow, so you're just going to have to put up with normal stuff between now and then. It's just good old bumper music, so by all means, thanks a lot.
Elevator music for everyone out there listening.
That's right. Let's see. Williamson will lose to Matt Rosendale from our text line 478-8298. Not if he runs the campaign he ran against Tester. He won't. So
that's right.
He better get on the stick and make some adjustments because
yes.
Yeah, he didn't run a very good campaign at all against Tester, so he'll have his hands full with Williamson. So
exactly, yeah.
Plus, I think Staples is running for governor anyway. So,
well, there you go.
So it's a moot deal. So, let's see. Mueller. Well, he went on TV yesterday, didn't he? Made a statement on Wednesday.
Crazy gate in the making. History.
Oh,
man.
This
is great. And we're on the radio.
We are on the radio doing this. I'll tell you.
Which will be one of the most remarkable times in American history.
I was going to say, this is right up there with Watergate and Clinton being impeached. And I'll tell you, boy, these are great times for radio.
It is.
Yeah. Well, Mueller made a statement regarding his comprehensive investigation into Russian election interference. His first public statement on the 2-year probe. He outlined the sweeping foreign efforts to influence the 2016 election, but reiterated that his report did not establish a criminal conspiracy between Russia and President Trump's campaign. He said that evaluating the instances of potential obstruction of justice described in the report would be left to the Attorney General, who previously opted not to pursue further charges, and Congress. And if we had confidence that the president did not commit a crime, we would have said so, he said. Charging a sitting president with a crime was not an option we could consider because, you can't do it.
Well, yeah, let's talk about this for just 1 minute because there's several points here that are important.
Mm-hmm.
With his regards to his comments, the comment about we didn't have enough to indict him and couldn't, it has to be determined when he made that decision if there was no collusion, which, by the way, isn't a law.
Mm-hmm.
So because he could have ended this probably a year and a half ago, depending on when they figured it out. And we both know he knew within 6 months because the evidence was already there. There was no collusion. But for our listeners, what's really important is that the Office of Legal Counsel that he made such reference to, the Office of Legal Counsel is in the under the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice is under the President in a cabinet position. And the Office of Legal Counsel was created in 1934 by an act of Congress. And it was first headed by Assistant Solicitor General J. Howard McGrath. And the purpose of it is for the DOJ to advise all the other departments in the government of their legal standing in any issue that they're dealing with, and referencing it for the president to read so he can understand what the law is in regards to it. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is your founding fathers were brilliant about this.
Mm-hmm.
The executive is in charge to... One of the responsibility is to enact all the laws of your land. Now, because the Department of Justice is under him, and the Attorney General is, in this case, Mueller worked for the Attorney General. Therefore, this was an executive branch investigation. And for the Office of Legal Counsel to come up with the guideline that, you can't indict a sitting president makes perfect sense because in doing so, and this is what's important, and Noah brought this up, it would be self-incriminating. In other words, it's like you're running your own company,
mm-hmm.
and you go to the lawyers and say, "Look, I sexually assaulted this woman, so I want to be charged."
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
But so, the president isn't going to go to the Department of Justice and say, "I want to be indicted,"
right?
For this, that, or the other thing. So it's pretty clear that the reason for this was left to the Congress to decide. So now what Mueller did basically is say to the U.S. Congress, if you want to take this issue up, because you're the only arm of the government that can remove the president. Well, We've all known this. We listened to this for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go, folks. They tried to do this by the executive branch, forcing a, self-incriminating claim against a sitting president, and they knew they couldn't do it from the very beginning. Very, very wrong.
Yeah. So
I hope I explained that.
think you did. From our text line, 478-8298, Gianforte will lose to Stapleton. Williams will lose to Matt Rosendale. Tess cheated. Tess stuffed ballots in Bozeman and Missoula, and Stapleton will beat Gianforte. So there you go. So, all right.
So now what Mueller did yesterday is he throws it back at the House of Representatives. So Nancy Pelosi, which, I think today I'm going to rename her Mother Hen. Because, Nadler comes out, of course, and he's Chubby Chicken. So Chubby Chicken comes out and he says, oh, no, this is reason for us to move ahead with impeachment, and all Beto and everybody else jumps on the bandwagon. Mm-hmm. And, Shifty Schiff comes out, Chicken Little. He comes out and, this is the guy that's been lying about this all along, like a McCarthyism type guy. I've got proof. I know that this has happened. So, that makes the Demo caucus, because only 15% of them want impeachment, their caucus, the chicken litter.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
My titles of the day.
Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, you are on the air. What's going on?
Well, good morning.
Hey, Pete, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Good morning, Gene.
Did you like my rant, Pete?
Yes. I don't think Mueller was real happy about being there yesterday. He just didn't seem like a happy camper. And what he did, the American people understand this, is he spent 9 minutes telling us all what we got for $35 to $40 million.
Yeah, right. There it is. Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. Zero, zilch, nada. And I mean, he was, you listen, yes, starting with Rush, I mean, right down the line. Mm-hmm. They picked his bones clean. The vultures are gone. There's nothing left to be had. But on two other short notes, Facebook is now banning health and diet advice.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, yeah.
And guess who got a ticket to Build-A-Burger?
I have no idea.
It's a harbinger of the future, one Miss Stacey Abrams.
Oh, yeah?
She will be going to the I'm telling you what, this planet's getting weirder by the minute. Might be all right to go to Mars or somewhere.
Stacey Abrams, the loser in Georgia for the government or for the governor's race, who will not accept that she lost.
Yeah, she's wandering around thinking she's governor of Georgia.
Yeah, she's going to be running for president here in 2020. She'll be the last one to get in the race, maybe. I don't know. But maybe the Bilderberger's got a more important job for her.
Well, it could be. I mean, they're an equal opportunity employer.
That's right. Yeah, they'll hire almost anybody.
Sure.
So Pete, how many Democrats do you think will announce their running for president after the debates?
Yeah, there you go.
2.
Well, if Shane and I don't make it here, we'll go to the Bilderbergs and get a job.
Yeah, I can't. I'll run your campaign.
Yeah, there you go.
They probably could use a little input from you fellas.
They could, yeah. It's obvious.
I don't think they'd let you in the door.
Well, that may be true.
Of course, they're not as fussy as they used to be.
Well, that's true. I don't know.
And they will be in Switzerland, so it'll be a nice little vacation for Abrams.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go to Switzerland and jawbone with the elite.
Yeah.
It'll be a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's all I got. And Mr. Mueller, thank you.
Okay.
And goodbye.
Thank God you didn't charge us $60 million for that.
No kidding, yeah. There you go.
Later, guys.
All right, thanks. From our text line, 478-8298, Rosendale lost because he's a horrible candidate. He needs to go back to Maryland. So there you go. So, all right. Let's see. The Mueller thing, I think, undressed this. And Mueller stood up there and said, hey, I didn't do it, so you guys have to. You got to get rid of him. Yeah, you got to get rid of him. So, I gave you some stuff, but I don't know what you're going to find that I couldn't in 2 years and $30 million, but it's up to you now because, we weren't able to do anything with this guy. So it's up to you to get rid of him. So. Well,
it was a sequel to Comey's 2016 pronouncement of Hillary's innocence, so Mueller comes out in 2019 and, basically accuses, the president. And that's not his job as a prosecutor. His job is to say, I think you should charge him with this and that and the other. But, anyway, the bottom line is he not kicked the ball, punted the ball, whatever you said to the House and Nancy Pelosi, the mother hen to decide what to do about it. But she's only got like 15% of her caucus in favor of impeachment. I don't see him doing it. That would shatter their party. It really would.
Well, I think it's a bad idea, not because, he's not guilty or whatever, but I think it's a bad idea because all these people are up for re-election. They're all going to have to go out and campaign. And if they're engrossed in this impeachment thing, that's all they're going to be able to talk about on the campaign trail. And that's not going to be a winning strategy, I don't think, in some of these red states where they happen to win their district.
Well, the other thing, too, is that, it was the White House counsel that Trump sent to Mueller for 30 hours they questioned him. And Trump said, tell them whatever they want to know. And so when he told them about the fact that he had a discussion with the president about firing Mueller, because he was upset by it and knew it wasn't real, it's no different than the discussion over the 25th Amendment that Rosenstein denies, right? Yeah. It was a discussion, right?
Yeah. All right,
nothing happened.
Yeah. Let's take a quick phone call, then we got to take a break. Caller, you on the air. What's going on?
Well, this Clint, maybe I should call back a little, huh?
We're going to take about a 2-minute break, so call back.
Okay.
All right. We'll be right back right after this. 20 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock. It is Thursday, May 30th, 2019. It is 55 degrees outside. We're looking for a high in the low 70s today, so should be a beautiful day out there. Not much chance of precip, so we hope it will sunshine and the trees will pop and the flowers will grow and all that stuff, and get out there and mow your grass and whatever you have to do, I guess.
That's right. Yeah. Exactly. Oh, just one more comment about the Office of Legal Counsel.
Sure.
In 1934, Franklin really pushed for it. And that was because of all the changes that he wanted to make that he knew probably were unconstitutional, to get people back to work in the United States during the Great Depression. And, he was probably as radical as Obama in his desire to want to change the government and the structure of the executive branch.
That's true. All right, let's go back to the phones. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. You're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Well, this is Clint.
Yeah.
Are you guys sick and tired of Trump and Mueller and all of them, for the last year and a half or,
Well, we sort of have to be enthusiastic about it, Clint, because it's our job.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm sick of it.
But when I leave here at noon or 11 o'clock, I turn it off.
God, you get so you hate to even watch the news anymore.
I do, but I have to, unfortunately.
I know it.
You can't watch the news because that's all they talk about.
Yeah,
that's right.
True, yeah.
That's right, Shane. Well, anyway, I got something locally to talk about.
Yeah.
And that's the Law and Justice Center. Now, the city's going to move out of there when they get their $33 or so million place
their
built.
Safety building. Yeah, their safety building.
They call it a safety building. Well, anyway.
I feel safe driving by there. It's not even up yet.
That's right. Nobody's doing nothing. But anyway, when the city moves out of there, I would like to have the public be able to go in and review, before we ever vote on anything, to have the open house at the Law and Justice Center after the city moves out of there, in other words, the city police and whatever. Mm-hmm. Then let us take a tour through there, and decide for ourselves how to vote. And the reason I'm saying this, that gymnasium there is huge. I've been in there when they built it.
Yeah, it was a school to begin with, wasn't it?
It was a Catholic school, and it's big.
Oh, yeah.
It's really big. And there's no reason at all that we should spend another $40 or $50 million building a law and justice center when we got it right there. We could remodel it somewhat. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's say we remodeled it and spent $4 or $5 million or $10 million even.
Well, didn't they a few years ago? I mean, they were driving pylons all over the place, and they were, shoring it up and whatever.
Well, they took out two big steel beams, but it's not got any cracks in it. It's went through how many earthquakes, huh?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, see? It's like the old high school.
59 for sure, and whatever else we've had.
Well, it's all about money, like you guys say. It's all about the money. But the thing is, a friend of mine, a county commissioner, Don Seifert, was on the television last night talking about it.
Yeah.
And that's all right. But they don't seem to understand that the people out here, the farmers, the ranchers, even the city dwellers, God, we're taxed to the max. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
I don't have any room in my closet for any more pizzas.
Yeah. Well,
he just has empty boxes.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to have empty pockets if this is voted in.
Yeah.
I think that there can be, if you pick up the mini nickel and look at the various different buildings that they want to build, okay, they build them anywhere from $15,000 to $50,000. Mm-hmm. Let us build something that cost $2 million there at the Law and Justice Center, just and have it for courtrooms.
Yeah, add on to it or
whatever.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime I can buy, they're according to the mini nickel. That's a pole building I'm talking about.
Yeah.
What the hell's the matter with a pole building?
Well, it doesn't look marbly, and doesn't have the the walnut facades, and we need carvings in there. We need a couple icons on top, and come on.
And keep in mind, they want to build it like Tom says with glass and steel.
Sure.
So in 12 years they'll have to build it over because of the new Green Deal.
Well, and Don says we're going to have tunnels under there. So nobody will be. Well, there's a tunnel in the old jail.
Well, yeah.
From there to the courthouse. Mm-hmm. Well, that's all well and good. Who cares?
I don't know. Is that so the commissioners can sneak gals in there when they're?
Well, yeah. But anyway,
like Kennedy used to do.
I think, But anyway, I think that the people, like I say, if they want us to build another, it'll probably be around 50, 60 million now. See. Mm-hmm. If they want us to do that, let us take a tour through there and let the public have some input in that besides that ballot they're going to send us. And most of the public never get to go in it or look at it or anything,
Well, also on that ballot's going to be the $200 property tax increase for the park district that they want to pass. So
yeah, besides a high school.
Yeah.
And besides a lot of other things. And then, I don't know. They say they need it. I don't think they need it.
Yeah.
They say the city's. There's going to come a day of reckoning here pretty quick. This economy, what goes up must come down.
Yep.
And it's going to happen just like it did in 2008. Mm-hmm. And you better be prepared. And if you go in debt, and they can't pay the bill. I don't know.
Yeah.
I look at the money end of it, Maybe I'm crazy, but I don't think so. I think that we were always raised. I was raised to be conservative, very conservative.
Yeah. How many times did we try to do the jail, and every time it got more expensive?
Yeah. What's it? This is the third time now, ain't it?
Third time's a charm.
Yeah, that's what they say. I don't think the people of Bozeman are that stupid. And I don't think the county people are that stupid either.
Yeah.
The taxpayers that's footing the bill for all this.
That could be.
Well, I don't know. It doesn't sound like you're hedging your bets because if it passes, what you're saying, it'll be passed by a bunch of stupid people.
Well, if they do it, well, it will be. It will be stupid.
Yeah.
It will be when you've got a big, beautiful building like it's there that costs a lot of money to build it to start with. We don't. It seems like we want to tear down everything, and in Europe they preserve everything.
Yeah.
We haven't learned a damn thing for preserving our heritage and stuff like that.
Yeah. There you go. Got to go.
Okay. Right. Well, anyway.
Thanks a lot.
Vote no on that new Law and Justice Center.
All right. There you go. 522 Talk is the number. Caller, you're on the air with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hi, Tom and Shane. This is Keith.
Hey, Keith. How are you?
Good. I started my apprenticeship on that Catholic church or Catholic school.
Yeah.
And as I recall, it was started in 1961, right after the 59 earthquake. And at the time, that was state-of-the-art earthquake resistance. So everything was done in that building to make it earthquake resistant at the time.
Mm-hmm.
The federal building on Babcock, that's a 5-story building. Gaines Hall at the university is another 2-story building, and they were built with identical construction practices. I worked on all 3 of them. I know how they were built. I talked to an engineer, and he insisted that the Catholic school was different than the others, but I worked on all 3 of them, and I couldn't tell any difference.
All the same, huh?
In the way, it was called, I can't remember the name, but anyway, it was built like precast concrete, only it was poured right in place with all the waves and stuff that you see in precast concrete.
All right.
So I see no reason that building
shouldn't be reused. Yeah,
it was a danger.
Yeah.
Then they came up with the idea that was
real quick. I got to go.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Keith.
Came up with the idea that was a sick building.
All right, got to go. Thanks.
Yep.
Oh, welcome back, everyone. 23 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Thursday, May 30th, 2019. 58 degrees outside. We're looking for a high of around 70 today, so it should be pretty nice. And Shane and Tobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia, my co-host, half man, half amazing, and Tom Eaglehoff, your morning mayor in the house. You can see Shane there. Let me see here. Well, maybe we can make him a little bigger. There you go. There he is. What a guy, huh? All right. Eagle Mount is in the house. We have Stephanie Uter, who's the events manager, and we have Heather Collins, who is the development director. And my wife spent many years with Reach, so we're very familiar with Eagle Mount through her. So great organization. We're very happy to have you in here today and to talk about, you've got some events coming up that we need to discuss. So
we do. Well, thank you for having us this morning. We're excited to be here with you.
Yeah.
Coming up next Saturday, June 8th, is our 24th annual Western Rendezvous out on the Eagle Mount campus. And it's a wonderful event, a family-friendly event. Mm-hmm. So it starts with a carnival at 4:30, jump slides and dunk tank and petting booth and all sorts of things, petting zoo. And then you go inside, you have a great barbecue dinner, a live silent auction, and then a great evening of dancing.
Mm-hmm. All right. Sounds like a fun event. Let's talk a little bit about Eagle Mount for the people who may not be familiar with Eagle Mount and what you guys do, how long you've been around. I know it's been as long as I've been here and probably longer than that. And
so Eagle Mount was started 37 years ago by General Mathis and his wife, Greta, and we provide therapeutic recreation to people with disabilities as well as children with cancer. Mm-hmm. So you see us out on the ski hill skiing. We have an aquatics center on site, horsemanship program. We do camps for children, oncology camps for children. We serve wounded veterans. We have a horticulture program, adventure days. It's like a day camp where they go hiking, fishing, ziplining, pretty much everything that we all love to do in Montana. Mm-hmm. We get to take people who maybe need a little adaptive equipment or a little extra help to get out and enjoy all the wonderful things.
Sure. I always think about the skiing because the handicap skiing is so inspirational to me anyway, seeing that they're able to get out and enjoy things that, without you guys, I don't know how they would be able to do that.
It's so nice to be on the ski hill and see a sit ski or a bi ski and know that participant is just having the time of their life out there that
right,
day.
Yeah.
And with one of our wonderful volunteers that is there helping them and guiding them to make sure they're safe and enjoying their experience.
Yeah. A lot of people like to know about funding. Where does your funding come from? Obviously, I'm going to put that just a little closer to you if you don't mind. So we hear you a little better. But funding, I know we receive mailers from time to time, please support us. And we certainly want to do that. So, but are there other funding options that people can take advantage of? Or do you get anything from the state or the feds or...
Great question. So we raise 91% of our annual budget every year, and we really depend on the community for that. We do not take any type of government funding, so no state, no local, no federal, and it's really individual. So about 72% of our annual giving is $100 or less. So individuals, businesses, corporations, a lot of in-kind donations,
right.
All the ski passes going back to the ski program are all donated by Bridger Bowl and Big Sky Resort. And so really it takes a lot of people, not just monetarily, but also volunteers. We have over 2,000 volunteers. That's like 1/10 of the adult population.
I was going to say that's a lot of a lot of people here in Bozeman that are stepping up. I'm impressed.
So we really are a volunteer-run organization, community-driven. We just couldn't do it without the generous support of the Bozeman, Gallatin, Montana community.
Okay. All right. We've got to take a quick break. We're talking with Stephanie Uter, the events manager, and Heather Collins, the development director, and we'll be back to talk more about Eagle Mount right after this. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. It's 16 minutes, still the top of the hour. It's Thursday, May 30th, 2019, 59 degrees outside. We're talking with folks from Eagle Mount. We got Stephanie Uter in the house, events manager, and Heather Collins, the development director, and people who are, maybe have time on their hands or want to know how can they help? How can they volunteer? What's the procedure?
Yeah, the easiest way is to get on our website. There's a list of all the programs that we have, and there's also a volunteer application that you can fill out right online. If you had additional questions, give us a call or even come out and stop by and see Eagle Mount. Yeah. We love to give people tours, kind of show them what we have going on. And really, it's what you as a individual are passionate about. So if you like to, for the summer, like to garden, come out and help in our horticulture program. If you like to be around horses, come out and help in that program, or get in the pool and swim with us.
I was going to ask, are there specific expertise that you're looking for that you're having a hard time finding right now?
One of the great things about our volunteer program is that we have amazing training. And so if there is a certain program that really speaks to you, we would love for you to come and help us out. We're always looking for volunteers in every program. So we have a great training program. And, this summer we have adventure days and swimming and horticulture and equestrian. So those are the ones that are really going on during the summer, but we love volunteers any time of the year, and we'll make sure that you're trained properly.
Yeah. Is this, it would seem to me if you're doing horseback riding and you're doing swimming, and although you got an indoor pool and everything, but it seems like some of these things would be seasonal, and then like the gardening, of course, would be, but are there times of years when volunteers are more critical around holidays or things like that than there are other times of the year?
I think it used to be like that. It used to be like for skiing, we have 300 to 500 volunteers that are needed just to help that program. But we've incorporated so many programs that go either year round. Horsemanship and swimming go year round, or our horticulture program actually starts in March and goes all the way till October. So there's always something going on at Eagle Mount. So we always are in need of volunteers. And even if coming for 6 weeks, for an hour every week is not something you can commit to, our special events are huge, and we always need lots of volunteers for that as well. And there's some perks. You can get in free and come enjoy the event, but with the rendezvous coming up next weekend, and then the following week we have a brand new first time concert out at Eagle Mount, and then in August we do Digger Days, and we need tons of volunteers for that. So if you can't commit to doing a program multiple week, come and volunteer for a day with our special events.
Okay. For the people who maybe are just joining us, let's talk about the rendezvous again, kind of when it's going to be, where, times, and...
Absolutely. So the 24th Annual Western Rendezvous will be out at Eagle Mount's campus, 6901 Goldenstein Lane, next Saturday, June 8th. It's a family-friendly event, so everyone in the family can come. Starts off with a carnival, and then moves into our equestrian center for a barbecue dinner, dancing, silent and live auction, and just a fun time for all.
Yeah, certainly sounds like it. Yeah, you'll get into there and get some food and
get your dance shoes on.
There we are. All right, sounds good to me. Yeah.
Yes, and then the following weekend on June 14th, so that's a Friday, we are doing our first ever Eagle Mount concert in our brand new amphitheater.
Oh, okay.
Which is absolutely gorgeous. We'll be having Pinky and the Floyd, and tickets have just gone on sale, so make sure you get them early because space is limited. You can get them on the Eagle Mount website. Okay. And also, if you have any questions, give us a call at Eagle Mount. That concert starts at 7, but we recommend getting there a little early. We'll have food trucks and activities, and then we'll end by 10. So a great family evening, and we are encouraging families as well.
Okay. The Eagle Mount website would be?
www.eaglemount.org.
Okay, eaglemount.org. So we can get the information on the rendezvous there, and also the upcoming concert as well. Ticket information. I guess can you purchase tickets through the website, or?
Yes, you can.
Okay,
yes.
So there you go. So people can get going on that right now, and get going. So.
And always give us a call too if you have any questions. We love to chat with new friends and old friends.
Yeah. Let's find out a little bit about you two. Are you transplants? Are you natives? Or what are you?
I am a transplant.
Me too.
Moved here 7 years ago from Athens, Georgia, and have enjoyed every second of it.
It's pretty nice, yeah.
Aside from maybe February of this year.
Full snow.
Every second that I've been here. So, moved here 7 years ago and haven't looked back.
All right. Heather, what's your story?
I'm a transplant, too. I've been in Montana for 20 years.
Okay, yeah.
And I just love it. I grew up in a location that had a lot of people, more than the population of Montana. And I always heard the word community, and really never felt that until you moved to Bozeman.
It's pretty hard in a big city. And, you may not know your next door neighbor even in a big city, but here you do probably.
You live it and breathe it and feel it, and the sense of community here is a wonderful place to raise a family and soon to be empty nesters. And then
good for you. Yeah.
Eventually retire. It's just a wonderful place to live and be a part of.
Yeah, then you can retire and volunteer.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right, we got to take another quick break. We'll be right back with more from Eagle Mount right after these important words. Hang on. All right, welcome back. 7 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Thursday, May 30th, 2019, 60 degrees outside. Shane Matobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia, sitting there and just enjoying the conversation. Right, Shane?
Indeed.
And in studio, we have Stephanie Uter from Eagle Mount, who's the events manager, and Heather Collins is the development director. And happy to have you guys in here today. Wonderful work you guys do in the community, and for as long as you've been here, certainly. How long has Eagle Mount been in existence?
For 37 years.
I was going to say. Yeah. I've been here 25, and it was here when I got here. So, yeah.
It's amazing. If you think back 37 years ago, it was pretty cutting edge for them to do that.
Yeah.
And it's just wonderful. It's family started, and everyone who works there feels like a family still. It's just a wonderful organization to work for.
Well, I'm still amazed the number of volunteers that you get. 2,000 volunteers that come out there and participate in this, and maybe not every day, but certainly it's a lot of people for a town this size.
It really is. Actually, last year it was 2,025. I just happened to look up the number yesterday.
Well, good.
And over 30,000 hours of time that they volunteer.
Holy smokes, yeah. So eaglemount.org, they can get information on volunteering if they want to, and you've got a whole bunch of different programs. How many programs do you have, roughly?
Yeah, so, and I was just writing a grant yesterday, so we have about 15 programs that also include 11 camps.
Okay,
So, we do family camps now, we do camps for wounded veterans, we do camps for children with cancer, and we do horsemanship, all abilities horsemanship camps. And we also are doing all abilities swim lessons. So we're incorporating the family as well as the participants, and then also the community. We have these amazing resources out there. Yeah. And so why not get the community involved, and we can all recreate together as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, all the things that these people can do. These people probably sound not very nice, but
well, these people are all of us. They're our friends, our neighbors, our daughters, sons, moms, dads. I mean, we really we have infant all the way up to 97.
Wow,
that come and be a part of Eagle Mount. So it really is everyone. It's all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's it's just amazing, and the fact that you don't take any federal money, you don't take any state money, you raise it all on your own with various events and things that you do, and everything. Boy, kudos to you guys, because this is such a valuable service to this community, because we have people that are dealt a bad deal in some cases, and but you make them feel more involved and normal, and
allow them to live their life
exactly
who they want to be and what they want to do. I mean, it's their life, and let's get out and enjoy it.
Yeah, I was going to say they wouldn't be out skiing without you guys. They wouldn't be out doing horseback riding without you guys. They wouldn't be, growing things in the garden or doing other things without you guys. So it's so great, that you have chosen this vocation to do this.
Thank you. It's wonderful, and not only is it wonderful for the participants, but it's also wonderful for us in the office to see those smiling faces every day. And we have personal relationships with the participants, and they become a part of our daily lives too. And that makes, on hard days when you're trying to raise a lot of money, just having one of our folks walk in the office and say hello and give you a big hug. It makes it, you realize that you're, they're making
a difference.
Yes. And they're making a difference too.
Yeah. Well, that's the important part, I think, of something like this. How you do you have? How far do people come to Eagle Mount from this area? I guess.
Goodness gracious! So for our local programs, we have people coming from Helena, Big Sky, so surrounding areas. And then one of the amazing things about our oncology camp is people come from across the United States.
Really?
So I believe, have had somebody from almost every state come for one of our oncology camps, which is just amazing to see, because they're going through treatment and really going through a hard time and struggling. And then they get to come out and enjoy this beautiful scenery and do the activities and experience everything that Montana has to offer. And for that week, they're not a cancer. They don't, the cancer is not the main thing on their brain. They're a child again.
You're right. Yeah. Well, and also too, I'm gratified that you deal with veterans. I'm a Vietnam vet myself, and I forgot my hat today. Shane hasn't beat me up over it, but I guess I have my Vietnam vet hat on. But that's an area of service that is special to my heart. That wounded veterans are given the opportunity to participate in life that. Without you guys, they'd be sitting in front of the TV, and
that's exactly it. And we try to get them after they've been home for a while,
right?
And are at that point where they've been told they can't go out and recreate again. They are sitting on the couch, and they need a little push, a little encouragement, and they come out to camp, and our counselors are previous participants in the camp, so they have a view of what they're going through and able to encourage them and get them outside and realize their life can continue on and they can go out and enjoy it.
Yeah. And I would assume you have veteran volunteers as well.
Our volunteers are previous campers that are wounded. So it's kind of what we do for our oncology camps too. They're all previous, so they have all had an injury or a disability through their service, and
Shane's hacking here.
Yeah. And, with our Big Sky Kids, our oncology camps, those are all previous campers who are in remission.
Okay.
So.
Shane? Oh. He's on the phone too, so.
Oh.
All right. Well, that wraps it up for us. Well, thank you very much for coming in, Stephanie Uter, the events manager, Heather Collins, the development manager. One more time on the rendezvous.
Absolutely. June 8th. 4:30 carnival, 5:30 barbecues at the Eagle Mount Equestrian Center, 6901 Goldenstein Lane.
All right. Thank you, ladies. Pleasure meeting you both, and we'll see you all out there. So we'll be right back with more stuff right after this. Well, if you're wondering where our regular opening music is, it just disappeared. It went away. So I'll re-record it. We should have it up tomorrow. So I don't know. Maybe the town square hackers came in and took it away. I don't know. But anyway, we're here. Tom and Shane, the Morning Soapbox on the air. Glad to have you along with us. Thanks for making us part of your morning. And Shane, the news just keeps on coming from our text line. Let's see. Tom is as old as Bernie. Actually, Bernie's 2 years older than I am. Biden's 1 year older than I am. And Clinton was the first president that I was older than. So, but if you can believe that. So anyway, Tom, run. So I should run, right? All right. Let's see. Belgrade had 3 or 4 initiatives for school projects, and voters said no to all of them. I think people are sending a message: we can't afford more taxes. Let's see. If Trump had not committed a crime, investigators would have said so. Justice Department guidelines do not allow him to charge a sitting president. And both my daughters have the privilege of volunteering at Eagle Mount during their teenage years, one in the stables and one in the pool and the stables. They both learned compassion and self-sacrifice and made some friends along the way. This helped to shape them into beautiful young women, and good for them for their efforts to volunteer over there, because it is a really great organization. So,
as a father of two girls, my oldest daughter was an equestrian rider, and she obviously spent a lot of time at a stable, and basically 7 days a week. And the remarkable thing about it, which I think was a great thing for her, was there were women there of all ages, girls her age all the way up to 50. And so, she had a great understanding of other women's points of view of all different ages as she grew up, particularly in her teenage years. So that would be a great thing for you mothers out there with daughters, to get your daughters out there to the stables, not just to volunteer and do the work, but also to meet other women and get a different point of view.
Yeah, that's excellent point. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, thanks for waiting. You're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Good morning, Tom and Shane. This is Jack.
How you doing?
I haven't listened a great deal to your talk this morning, but I do have a question that's been bothering me. I know that Winco Foods has been trying to come into the area.
Yes.
And the last I heard was they were involved in some kind of a lawsuit with the city, against the unions or whatever. Do you know the status of what's going on with that situation?
Well, from what Jeff Krause has told us, it is Albertsons and Safeway are both union stores, and the unions have brought a action against Winco. It has not been resolved yet, to my knowledge. It's in limbo for the moment. I'm not sure when or if it'll be decided in court, or if but that's the holdup. Winco is ready to go, from what I understand. So that's all I know at the moment. So.
And the city did okay the Winco plans. Everything was set to go. And
yeah. The lawsuit is not with the city. It's between the union and Winco, as far as I know. The city doesn't have anything to do with it. I don't think. And they are just, they've approved their site plan, and so they're ready to build as soon as they can. So I'm not sure. I don't know what the holdup is. It seems like they would want to get this done before construction season gets too far along.
Well, I know you've got a business background, and I have myself. But this is the first time in I can recall that a union, for whatever reason, can stop another business coming into town for whatever reason, maybe competition or something like that. It just seems to me to be almost groundless. I'm having a hard time to get my head around it.
I'm having a hard time finding the grounds for it too. I mean, if you, their objection, I believe, is that Winco may pay a little better, which is going to force the unions to pay more if they're going to be competitive. But Winco apparently is a fairly well-run operation, but nobody objected when Rose Hours came in. Nobody objected when Town and Country moved.
Right.
Those two things right there kind of indicate to me that this. I agree with you. I think it's a pretty groundless claim, but I guess it does have to run its course. So.
Yeah. The other situation too is that with the right to work laws that have been established by the Supreme Court, there's already a precedent that Winco would win this case. But if they want to spend the millions of dollars to get to that point, it'll be up to them, and they may decide they don't want to do that and then walk away. So there you go.
Well, I don't think they're going to walk away. They walked away once, and I think they see this as a pretty fertile ground for them.
You bet.
So yeah, I think they see our growth. We're the fastest growing county in the nation almost. So I think I think their investment here is probably well worth it to them.
Exactly.
I'm guessing the lawyers are dragging their feet preparing the case.
From my point of view, anytime another company can come to town and offer more choice in where you shop, what you shop for,
sure.
I think that's a great thing for people that live in the area.
Sure.
It really frustrates me when people stand in the way of that, be they a union or be they someone in the city hall or anything. I just really appreciate competition. I mean, goodness, that's kind of what our country's been founded on. So,
well, and if the employees at Albertsons or Safeway are unhappy, hey, stop paying union dues and go over and work for Winco.
Great idea. Okay, thanks a lot, Tom.
All right, hey, thank you. All right. Yeah, Winco, we haven't talked about that in a while. You should put that on the Krause list, Winco.
Okay, will do.
Yeah, put it on the Krause list. We'll talk to Krause about that on Wednesday or Tuesday. I don't think he didn't really have anything to do with it because it's not a city deal, but he may have some insight as to where it is in the legal process. So, let's see. On the tire recycling over in Livingston, 100 people showed up for the tire recycling meeting, and they want to do a tire recycling place there. So, on the tire recycling, what's going to happen? All the solar panels and their toxic materials when they need to be recycled. What do you do with a solar panel? You just bury it in the backyard, I guess, and call it good.
No, they'll send it to China. We've talked about that.
Let's see. And regarding Mueller and the investigation, for $35 million, we recovered millions in cheated taxes and crooks in jail, and learned how Russia interfered. So, cheaper than Donald J. Trump golfing.
Well, I just want one more comment about what Mueller said yesterday. What I thought fascinating of everything, and no one really made an issue about it, was this whole thing about Russia and WikiLeaks. Because everybody's been guessing about that. And he blatantly came out and said, well, it was Russia that hacked the DNC and then gave that information to WikiLeaks, who released it.
Yeah.
And, that's sort of a huge part of that story, right? Like that was.
Yeah. And I would assume the mainstream media ignored it because it sort of implicates Hillary in there somewhere, but. Not a smoking gun, but certainly a warm gun.
Well, and his comment, that which interfered with one of the candidates in the election. Mm-hmm. Well, it only interfered in their election because of what happened, what were in the emails, right? Like,
well, yeah, yeah, wedding plans and what else? Cookie recipes.
Yeah.
So, I still don't think this. I still don't think this impeachment is going to fly. I think it's going to hurt the Democrats. I don't know what they're going to try to charge the president with. What high crime or misdemeanor did he commit, other than he was elected when he shouldn't have been? Because there's no way in God's green earth that Donald Trump should have been elected president of the United States. There's got to be something wrong. Aliens, or there's something they put in the water or something. This guy has no business being the president of the United States. So what's the deal?
It's amazing. Yeah, you're right.
I still can't believe it.
Well, and as I've said, no one's talking about the influence that China's trying to put on the 2020 election.
Yeah.
As I said, they sit there with these tariff calls. Mm-hmm. And, they determined that they were going to put tariffs on products that basically were supporters of Trump. That's interfering with your election. Mm-hmm. And now yesterday, the socialist president of Mexico announces a $150 million ad campaign to Mexicans living in America it's Mexico first. Do not learn English, just speak Spanish.
Oh,
wow. I'm telling you, they want that 55% back of their country. I'm telling you.
I guess they do. I don't know, man. That's I don't know. Can't we just get along? Rodney King, can't we just get along? What's the deal? Jeez, why do we have to be at each other's throat? And I don't know, there doesn't seem to be any room for compromise anywhere. They were still trying to get the Canada, Mexico, America deal done.
Well, that's right. And the big problem there is that the Senate is the only one that has the guideline under your Constitution to approve the treaty. But the U.S. Congress, if the treaty requires funding to enact it, then the Congress has to approve that funding, and that's what Pelosi's holding it up. She's not wanting to consider it and provide the funding. So that's what's holding it up, folks.
There you go. Well, let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Calling you on the air. What's going on?
Do you remember at that press conference when Trump asked the Russians to release whatever they found on Hillary?
Yeah. He said, you must have Hillary's 30,000 missing emails. Why don't you release them?
During the debate.
That's exactly what they did.
Well, I don't think they released the 30,000. We still aren't sure where those are, but they did release some of them, or some they hacked into.
Those.
Well, they may have them, but
no, the FBI has already admitted they found them.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay.
I mean, the Russians, Putin just did what Trump asked.
Well,
that's all.
Okay. Well, I don't think they're pals, but.
They could be. They should be.
Well, I don't know.
I'd rather be pals with Russia than China.
Well, probably so, I guess. All right. Hey, thanks for the call. Caller, you're on the air real quick. I got to take a break. What's going on?
Tom, Bob.
Yes.
King, both of you. I have a real simple question.
Sure.
If we're so worried about foreigners influencing our elections, why don't we have an ID like the real ID is required to fly? To do the most important thing in the United States, which is elect our representatives and get rid of all the illegals who are voting.
Well, according to the Democrats, people of color, people who are handicapped, they are just incapable of getting an ID. I can't imagine anything more insulting. But if you're black, if you're Hispanic, if you're handicapped or whatever. Getting an ID is just not that can't happen.
Well,
but the easy solution is for the Social Security to institute a program for a picture ID, like we have up here for our Social Security card. So I mean, and so people use government services all the time, like to go get your driver's license or for a passport. So you could go in the Social Security office and get your picture taken and have a picture ID. Solves the problem.
Yep, that would work.
But you also realize that would also protect the e-verification for all the illegals. Because,
right. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm saying. It would do two things. It would verify whether they really have a real Social Security number, and it would provide a picture ID for voting.
But my question is, I still don't understand how you can say they can't fly, they can't go in a federal building, and that's create a lot of issues because how are they going to get their benefits if they can't go to federal buildings?
Well, that's the point. The more real ID we have and the more verification we have of who these people are, the harder it's going to be for them to get their benefits. Now, somebody will find a workaround, I'm sure. But
well, there is a workaround. You can apply for all the U.S. benefits online with any federal agency that you want and never go to the office because people in rural areas, it's too far for them to drive, and so you can do it all online. You don't have to go into an office to file anything.
Well, what I meant was that they will find a workaround to do it illegally.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's no question about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we keep changing our money for counterfeiters. We keep changing our IDs. We keep changing all this stuff. But what does it do? What happens? Yeah.
Everybody wants to talk about what the president's done. Well, what about what the Democrats, even in our own state here?
Yeah.
University students, the day of election, can go up and claim that they are Montana residents for voting purposes, even though they're paying out-of-state tuition. And we say, okay, go ahead and vote.
Yeah, and they vote in their own election back home as well. So
exactly. So that's my point is, if they clean up the election laws, there is no high crimes and misdemeanors because every politician's doing it.
The definition gets a little cloudy, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'll give you a quick one, and then I'll get out of your hair.
Okay, thanks. Real quick.
If we have a rule of law, then how can we have no enforcement of our immigration laws, and how come we turn around and we have public laws that are imposed but not enforced, or anything else that's not being enforced, and still claim to have a rule of law?
Yeah. There you are. Hey, good point. Thanks for the call.
Talk to you later.
All right, take care. We'll be right back in 60 seconds. 23 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m. It is Thursday, May 30th, 2019. 64 degrees outside. Looking for a high of 73 degrees today. Shane Taubman, half man, half amazing, on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor, in the house. And this is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. From our text line, 478-8298. And what do we do with Obama's green energy mercury fluorescent bulbs? I don't know what we do with those, yeah. Let's see. Why is anyone surprised about what Mueller did? This was the end game from the beginning. So that may be true. There may be an end game in there. Illegals use Monero for tax evasion. Okay. There you go.
All right.
Monero or dinero? I don't know.
Dinero. I have to comment on the light bulb thing. You remember?
Go for it. Yeah.
But 20 years ago, when the light bulbs, the U.S. Congress passed legislation outlawing the light bulb, the Edison light bulb, and there was this big, huge scuffle about it because they wanted everyone to go to LED light bulbs.
Yeah.
And then they had to reverse themselves because the public there was such an outrage. And I think it was down to like one GE plant making the light bulbs before they changed the law.
I know. Yeah, they made it illegal to manufacture them in the United States. Yeah. I mean, they're still made, but they're not made here. But anyway. But they had to warm up and all the things, all the curly bulbs and whatever. We still got some in our house, I think, but I don't know. Any time I had a chance to buy some light bulbs when that was going on, I bought some.
Well, that's right.
Because the 100s and 75s those were pretty much impossible to get. But
and it's a case of what we talk about, supply and demand. And if you can't make LED light bulb cheaper than a regular light bulb, you're not going to sell it.
Yeah. Well, you're going to sell it if it lasts 1,700 years longer. I guess that was their big claim to fame. It'll last.
Yeah, right.
It'll last 82,000 hours.
Well, I bought them and they didn't last that long. So
yeah, right.
I don't know about you, but I haven't. But I had never had much success with them.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember reading a story somewhere. Some firehouse in the Northeast had a bulb that's been burning since 1901 or something like that. It's up in the ceiling and they can't get to it or whatever it is. I don't know. Anyway,
it's one of Edison's original bulbs.
Yeah, it's sitting up there and still working. So I don't know.
24/7, baby.
100 years later. But well, anyway, let's see. From our text line 478-8298. Folks keep talking about another civil war. One side knows how to shoot and has 1 trillion bullets. The other side has crying closets and is confused about which bathroom to use. How do you think that's going to end? So, there you are. I guess problem solved.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. It's a rollover, baby.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Well, I think we're caught up on our text line here. Got everything taken
okay,
care
time
of there.
for the 40.
Yeah, real quick.
Update
Let's do
for all
that.
the listeners. So the Dow opened this morning after its slide yesterday up 60 points. And, of course, I think the slide was a combination that Mueller was making his comments and the price of gas or oil.
Yeah.
Standard & Poor's is up 13, NASDAQ 100 up 37. The FTSE's up 45, and the DAX is up 74. So Europe is showing some strength. Even the IBEX in Spain is up. Asia is flat, mostly down in the pink, but that's not surprising. The interesting thing, though, is that oil is trying to break back, and it's at 58.70, so it's still off 6 cents today. But no major moves in it. Brent's at 68, back to the normal 10% spread. Gold's at 12.79, modestly up there, trying to get back to 1,300. Silver is the interesting one. It's at 14.50, so it could go back to $15. That would be very interesting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Government bonds are basically the same. The 10 years 226, down 0.11, and the 30 years 268, down 0.14. Currencies, of course, the euro is still down under 112. And one thing that we didn't cover yesterday, which we want to today, Bitcoin, 8,720, up 57 today. Urethra is up 287. As I said yesterday, I basically look at these as commodities, not currencies. But, it'll be an interesting thing to see if how scared money has to get. How big of a chicken does it have to be to run the Bitcoin,
Yeah, well, we'll see, I guess. So whatever.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. Well, we've got a caller waiting, Shane. If you could handle that, we'll be right back with more stuff. This is Thursday, May 30th, 2019, 65 degrees outside, and this is the I'll get it in a minute. This is, I think it's the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess, when we come back. When we come back, I want to talk about immigration because a lot of things are happening there. We got 100,000 people a month coming across the border illegally. And what I want to talk about is where the forces are coming from to handle that. And we'll be right back right after this. 24 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Thursday, May 30th, 2019, 66 degrees outside, looking for a high of 73. Shane and Tom on the line with me, and we've had a caller patiently waiting. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Well, I did all my complaining to Shane, so I don't know if I got any complaining left in me. But he's pretty good at, listening.
He is a good listener.
Yes. So anyway, I wanted to complain about the bulbs, the light bulbs.
Oh, the light bulbs,
They cost you $30 a piece, and then Montana power surges them, to death.
Yeah.
And they say, they last 5 years, they last 10 years. Yeah, if they last a month, I'm happy. But boy, $30 a piece a little month.
There you
are. My house payment has gone up over $200 a month.
Wow.
Just in school taxes, you know, park taxes, all this stuff. You know, they've about taxed me right out of this neighborhood.
Yeah, so, I feel your pain.
You know, and you know, when you get older, you know, the bosses don't give you raises no more. They're just helping you get out pretty soon. Get the hell out.
There you go.
So,
all right. Hey, thanks
anyway,
for the call.
like I said, Shane's a good listener. So, but the light bulb thing is stupid. That's all there is to it.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call.
Day.
All right.
Yeah, we agree. The only good use for LED lighting is Christmas.
Christmas. Okay. Yeah. Put them up on the tree. Yeah.
Yeah. Or outside. You know, they're good for outside.
That's true. They are good for outside. Yeah. So. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about the immigration thing because, as you know, Shane, we've had 4 straight months of 100,000 or more people trying to cross the border illegally. And for those folks out there that don't want a wall anywhere along the southern border or whatever, you might want to think about what the Border Patrol is doing about this. They are pulling Border Patrol people off of, say it with me together, border checkpoints where the drugs come in, and off the TSA at the airports.
At the airports. Isn't that wonderful?
So look for a bomb in your luggage at an airport near you, because I'm sure ISIS and Al-Qaeda and Hamas and everybody else, this isn't lost on them, that there's going to be fewer agents there. You're going to be waiting in line longer to get on a plane because there aren't going to be as many people there to check your luggage and whatever. So, and at the border checkpoints, you know, there's not going to be as many agents there to check for drugs and whatever in the various vehicles that are crossing the border. So
that's right. And the Senate finally got around to approving Thomas Douglas Hahn as your new ICE director. And, you know, it's sort of a relatively important, it's sort of a relatively important position with 20,000 employees and a $7.6 billion budget. So it's interesting how this whole thing has come about as a political issue instead of a policy issue.
Yeah.
I just find it fascinating to watch that with everything else that's going on.
Well, it is, and particularly when we're our own worst enemy when it comes to immigration, because our own laws are encouraging people to come here and break the law. You know, if you get on American soil, you're home free. You can, you'll have your day in court if you show up.
Well, that's right. And, I mentioned in the last block about the socialist president of Mexico. You know, I'm announcing a $150 million campaign. But in a statement, he also said that the importance of this is to reach not just the second, third, fourth generation of Mexicans in the U.S., but the seventh, eighth, and ninth, because it's just going to grow. And, this is a serious concern that people should have in your country about this whole thing is, where does this go to? If Mexico turns into a failed state, which it's very close to, like Venezuela, 3 million people have left Venezuela. And, can you imagine 4 or 5 million people? I mean, Mexico's got a big population, and 4 or 5 million people just coming over the fence. My gosh, that would be horrific.
Well, that's what, that's the thing. And unfortunately, the people who vote down the wall or putting it in court or whatever, a wall isn't the total answer, but certainly I would rather have a wall go up than I would pulling them off the border checkpoints and out of the airports. Come on.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's one of those things that, it's political, and it's.
Well, that's the sad part, that it is political, and it shouldn't be. So.
Yeah. And by the way, the population of Mexico, for everyone, is 127 million people.
Yeah. So what was it before?
Yeah, right.
247 million.
That's right.
All right. We got to take a quick break. We'll be back in 60 seconds. 17 minutes for the top of the hour. It is Thursday, May 30th, 2019, 66 degrees outside, and we're looking for a high of 73 degrees today. We've got a caller Waiting on the line, chatting with Shane. So, caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hey, guys. Hey, I don't know if this would work, but I think it would. I think we should get rid of all the TSA agents and let the airport and the carriers do their own security. Doesn't it kind of take away the liability from them with the government check? I mean, now doesn't the government liable if anything happens? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because they're a regulated industry, so that's the reason the feds are there. They got air traffic controllers and all of that for safety, because obviously we aren't able to keep ourselves safe, so we have to have the government do it for us.
Yeah, but see, I don't know. It seems ridiculous.
And your government's not going to give up any kind of security like that to industry. That they want to control it.
But it's a false sense of security. Seriously,
Oh, it is. Yeah.
I mean, couldn't a guy just roll up a few blocks away and shoot a plane down with an RPG or something?
Sure.
I mean,
yeah.
It's so simple. It's a false sense of security.
Well, why do you think they check your luggage out in full view of you? That makes you feel safer, doesn't it? I don't know. That if your bag disappeared back there and they said, "Hey, there's a guy back there behind this wall that's checking your luggage," so you should feel really safe. So no, they've got somebody out there with dogs and a weapon and going through your luggage with a little swab thing, looking for explosives and whatever.
Surgical gloves.
Right, yeah.
Do you still have to take your shoes off to fly?
Yeah. Well,
I haven't flown in like 10 years. So, but yeah. I mean, I just laughed. The last time I flew, I was like, this is so stupid.
I was going to say, how many people how many shoe bombs have they found since we started taking our shoes off? So.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was a patsy.
Yeah, I know.
They just set this stuff up to grab power, and make money. Someone's making money on that.
I appreciate that. Hey, if there's a buck to be made, the government will figure out how to do it.
Hey, that helps the whole economy, right? If the government takes all of our money and pays other people to do work that we work for to pay them. That's right. That's how it works, right?
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. Good call. All right. Well, yeah, that's where we are, Well,
and the interesting thing about it is it forced the Boeing industry, the plane industry, to build bigger planes with larger areas over the seating.
Right.
Because what they discovered is if they can get everyone to put their bag over their seat, then they can carry more commercial product underneath, which is they make more money on that. The cream for an airplane ticket is the passenger. The big money the airlines make is what they, ship underneath to everybody. So,
well, yeah, that's true. But weight is an issue. The more weight you put on the plane, the more fuel it takes, and that's certainly not cheap. Jet fuel is certainly not inexpensive. So,
that's right.
Yeah. So, well, I would agree with the caller. I think every time I fly, and incidentally, if you fly enough, you can get an exemption from taking your shoes off and your belt and everything. You got to put your computer in the bin and everything. But you don't have to take your shoes off and your jacket off. You contact the airport. They have a form you fill out. They do a little background check on you, and you don't have to. It's on your boarding pass. When you give it to the guy, that there's a little symbol on there that says you don't have to take off your shoes and jacket and whatever. So
lucky you.
Yeah, I know. Lucky me. So, well, it was worth it because one time I was flying a lot more than I am now. But still nice to be able to walk up there and watch everybody else, and you're just kind of sashaying through there. Just no problem at all. Thank you very much. So, but it still upsets me that we're pulling people off of the airports and off of the border checkpoints where the drugs are coming in to deal with this mass migration of people that we're actually advertising to come here. I mean, we're telling them, we got, Congress doesn't want you to we don't want your kids separated from the parents. We don't want this. We don't want that. If you're here home free, you get a lawyer, and it just goes on and on. And
yeah, one of the great stories last week that I read about, which isn't fake news, is that these pamphlets that these immigrants are getting about claiming asylum, they're printed by the Mexican government.
Well, I don't doubt it. Yeah. well, they're coming from Guatemala and Honduras and El Salvador. They don't want them in Mexico. Come on.
No.
I don't want these people in my backyard. So let's give them to the Americans. I think we should print pamphlets in America telling them all about how great Canada is.
Well, I think Trump should send 10,000 of these people seeking asylum to Guantanamo, like we've talked about this.
Oh yeah.
Like Bush did with Haiti. Yeah. You fly 10,000 of them to Guantanamo and have them sit there at the end of Cuba in the hot sun, waiting to have a review by a judge there.
Yeah.
And then and 95% of them will be flown back to their home. That would probably cause a lot of people coming to maybe take a different point of view.
Well, I still think if you walk up to the border and there's a big ass wall there, that would slow you down a little bit,
A lot. Yeah.
So I don't know. Anyway, we got the Rush update coming up, and Southwest Montana HelpWanted.com, and we'll be right back. Here's Rush. 6 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Thursday, May 30th, 2019, 67 degrees outside. Looking for a high of 73 degrees today. Hopefully we'll make that chain. And from our text line at 478-8298, everyone in America needs to read a book called Boundaries by Dr. Henry Cloud. Setting boundaries, including border walls, are a good thing. Our culture doesn't recognize boundaries. And Edison light bulbs had carbon filaments, I guess. I don't know.
That's right.
Is that right? Jane would know.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's see. Read the book Camp on the Saints to learn what will happen with illegal unchecked immigration when you have two hands on your shoulders and the TSA agent says, turn your head and cough, you're in trouble. For sure.
Very good. I like that.
I love Shane's idea. Just throw them in a concentration camp and then maybe they'll change their mind. So good for you, man. You got the answer there. So I know the government listened to us every day. Well, I don't know. Is TSA still around? Or whatever it is, TWA, to whatever that thing was. NSA used to listen to us all the time.
That's it.
I think it's the NSA. Yeah. So
yeah.
Well, I don't know. Well, tomorrow's Friday, Shane. Finally Friday, and
finally Friday.
They always try to dump something on Friday.
Of course they do. Yeah, that's what's going to be fascinating.
They always try to dump some news. So yeah.
Well, in the next 2 weeks, that investigative general report on FISA is coming out. That's going to be major, baby. That's huge news for us to talk about.
Well, that's what I'm thinking about the time they. I wonder if this impeachment is going to kind of sit for a minute till they get that report from the IG. And see what's going to happen there. There's also talk that the Senate might subpoena Mueller as well.
Well, one of Trump's favorite senators from South Carolina is the head of the Judiciary Committee, and there are a lot of questions that he should be asked. Like, when did you know there was no collusion? That's the single biggest question he should be asked.
100 days, they said.
Yeah,
last night. After 100 days, he knew there was no collusion, no conspiracy, no nothing. So let's take a phone call, then we got to go. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Good morning, guys.
Hey.
My name is Joel. What do you think of this idea for the immigration problem? When that judge overruled Trump, and he was going to take their names or something like that, and then send them back home, and then we'll let you know when it's your turn to see the authorities to see whether or not you can see the judge when we'll let you know when it's your appointment.
Yeah.
Judge overruled him, and so now these people are basically just walking into this country, and we're feeding them and taking care of them.
Mm-hmm.
I would have nationalized the troops, and I would have told that judge to go to hell.
Yeah.
I said they're not coming into this country unless they do it right. And you know what? It was an appointee from the last administration, and how
right. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I would have done, and that would have solved it. I can't believe that Trump seems so helpless to solve that problem.
Well, all these people go to sympathetic judges. They're going to go to left-wing judges, and they're going to get the ruling they want. And thankfully, Trump has put more judges on the bench during his first 2-3 years than anybody in recent memory. So that's going to help down the road, but it doesn't help us at the moment that much.
And I just want to mention the Ninth Circuit reversed that judge's what do you call it?
Ruling.
Ruling, and because Trump made the comment about sending these people to
sanctuary cities.
Sanctuary cities. That's right. Yeah.
And I don't have an objection to that either. I think San Francisco will welcome them with open arms. So will everywhere in California. So let's just put them there for now.
Well, look what it's doing to our country. That's what's
well, it is. That's the sad point. When you talk about San Francisco and you can't walk down the street without stepping in a landmine. I mean, come on. Something's got to be done about that. And all these leaders are sitting around because, well, I guess they don't walk down those streets. So it's no big deal.
Great guy. A great day to you guys.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks for listening. We really appreciate that very much. All right. Well, we're winding down here, Shane. So, but I don't know, this immigration thing, I can't believe Congress isn't doing something. I mean, it boggles my mind. I mean, you've got to, you got to get control of this.
Well, Mother Hen Pelosi doesn't want to give a win to Trump, so any change in the immigration law would give him a
win. Yeah,
2020. Yeah, that's what it would.
That's it. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Well, and also too, I think the other thing Mueller did, he made Trump more of a victim. They're coming after him no matter what. There we go.
The righteous eagleman nailed that one, boy. You've called that for 3 months, and you've been right.
There you go. Say goodbye, Shane.
Bye, Merritt. We'll talk tomorrow morning. Have a great day, everyone. Be happy, be safe.
All right. Thanks, Shane. Thanks for everybody being with us. Thanks for the callers. Thanks for all the texts and everything. And we really appreciate you very much spending your morning with us. And we hope you'll do it every morning from 6 to 9. So that does it for us today. Tomorrow is finally Friday. 65 degrees, looking for a high of 73 today. We'll see everybody bright and early tomorrow morning, 6 a.m.